What's happening, everybody? Welcome back. This is Forgo, and as you guys can hear, my voice is sounding a whole lot better. It's not 100%, but it's definitely a lot better than what it was yesterday. So it's pretty damn awesome that I can actually give you guys a little bit of a review of this update when I'm actually speaking normally. Now, guys, this update is definitely not all good. There's definitely some good things about it, but there's some things that are kind of a slap in the face to all of us players, and I'm definitely going to be bringing it to all of your attention. So the first thing, guys, is we do have a new Carnival, right? And in this Carnival, you're going to be able to acquire these boxes here where you have a chance of getting EX Fire Summon tickets. Now, this is fine. We can use our cards to level up this thing, which is no big deal, guys. Whenever you do use 6-star cards or you get 5-star cards, you're going to be able to acquire a certain amount of points. This is the scaling of those cards. You guys have seen these carnivals multiple times. Just get a bunch of battle cards, level them up, and you will be able to finish this, guys. We have a 6-day window, actually 7 days in total, to be able to get 80,000 points to get all the way to the end. I would advise doing this because hopefully you can get some EX Fighter Summons, and I would think not having a carnival for a long amount of time that many of you have already have card summon tickets. Maybe you have a bunch of free summons already for the unlimited banner, and you can just pull like crazy and just get a whole bunch of cards. You can even combine cards to get other cards. That way you can still get a whole lot of points. You can farm in the card dungeon. There's all kinds of different ways to acquire cards in order to finish this. So I would recommend it, guys, because it's hopefully free summons for you. The next thing, guys, is the re-entry of the battle pass. So like in this first one, guys, this is for about 25 American dollars if I do have my math correct as far as, exchanging Vietnamese currency. You're going to get 2,000 rubies. You're going to get some of these dispatch speed up tickets, and you're going to be able to get imprint stones and also battle cards, right? And this is going to be a theme of this current update that we have right now. If these are your favorite characters and you don't have certain things for those characters, or you don't have the characters and you want to make the most out of them, you want to get them leveled up, then the events like this are going to be really good for you. If you're someone like me that already has all these characters and you already have all this equipment, then it's going to lose a lot of value unless maybe you're trying to gain maybe an extra stat. Maybe you only have one 3PG for Lady Chin, for example, and you're trying to get that extra attack, right? But all these characters in this banner right now, as we're going to talk about in a little bit, have all been power crept. Every single one of them have been power crept. And that's why the theme of this update is only pull for what you need for your favorite characters. If they're not your favorite characters, guys, I would not recommend doing anything in this update except for that Carnival, right? As we're going to explain a little bit further in the video. So this here for $25, guys, honestly, this is pretty damn steep. For 2,000 rubies, one imprint stone, and yes, they do have the samurai stones, they do have the moon cycle soldier stones, and they have the temporal mystery stones. And if you want to see who all those characters are, all you gotta do is go to the fighter here, guys. I already got these characters up here. Duolon, Athena, all the Rugals, Orochi, right? Lady Chin, Haramaru, Nakaruru, Guinness, like all these characters fit one of those descriptions, and you can use those stones on one of those characters. So again, if one of these characters are your favorites, you're trying to get the most CP out of them, then maybe you would want to do it, guys. But honestly, $25 is pretty steep for that thing. And then the other one here, this one here is a little bit more money, right? You get 4,000 rubies. I mean, this is going to be around $75, $80. So this is pretty damn expensive in all honesty, guys. And they're going to have, again, the cards in here. They're going to have, these imprint stones in here. And just like I said earlier, guys, unless one of these characters are your favorites, there's something you don't have maybe in the KOF Pass, and you just want to outright get it, maybe you'd want to do this. But guys, this is a steep price. This is a very, very expensive price. And honestly, I don't think I'm going to do it even myself. I usually buy every one of these KOF passes, and I think this is pretty damn expensive. Honestly, pretty ridiculous. So I really can't recommend buying it because there's no EX fighters in here at all. They really should, especially being a return banner, there should have been EX fighters in this thing. Definitely. But yeah, I can't see it, guys. But if you really need those stones and you want to avoid any kind of RNG, then, that would probably be a good way to go. The next thing is in the shop. So in the shop, guys, this is where you're going to be able to get, two of these option cards that are available. And both these option cards have by the way, this, artwork is beautiful, but when All-Star Fighter are in auto mode, it increases their own basic attack by 800%. And unable to use skills or control movement, and renders ultimate moves unusable. Now, this increased own basic attack by 800% is very nice. And what this card's going to do, and the other card with Leona on it, what they both do is it's just like, EX Rugal. Whenever you are going to have this card equipped on them, they're never going to use their supers in auto mode, and they're just going to do either their basic attacks or their regular skills, and their regular skills will never have a cooldown whenever this thing is equipped. And having an extra attack by 800% is good, but here's the thing, guys. I have EX Rugal. I have an A6 EX Rugal. I got a lot of money invested in that character, and I can tell you right now, that effect has proved to be useless for me. Useless, guys. It is useless, okay? It can be a useful thing, I guess, if you're farming and maybe like the Epic Quest or something like that. It can be useful, I guess, for some players. But for a lot of the game modes, guys, you'll find that, using that 3PG really does help because it stalls timers in a lot of these game modes. It allows you to do more damage over time. It's just better to be able to use your 3PG even on auto in a lot of cases, at least in my humble opinion. So it's one of those niche cars that might be useful, and maybe even useful for a future game mode, but 2,500 rubies, no. No, guys, I would not spend rubies on this. And the same thing for the Leona card. It might have Leona on it. It might be a beautiful looking card, but there's no way that I would do this. And this increased active skill cooldown by 100%. So really, the other card with Mai on it is actually a lot better. I mean, and this might be a typo, but I mean, that Maizy card is going to do a lot more damage. But I cannot recommend buying these unless Netmarble brings in a game mode where, having like we're using a bunch of characters all at once, and we need to use auto on the other characters. However, in all the games we have so far, like for example in the story quest, whenever we're in the story and we have 3 fighters, 2 of those fighters already automatically fight. So I'm not really sure what the point of having this card really is for most players. Like I said, guys, I have an A6 EX Rugal that has this effect. He's strong, and I never use it. I just don't need to. So I can't really recommend for you guys to spend your hard-earned rubies on this. And then, guys, they have a little something here that kind of irks me and kind of pissed me off a little bit. And that is in this shop here, where you have these packages for 3,500 rubies, 5,500 rubies, and 8,000 rubies, right? And in these packages, you can get these transcended cards, right? Or these cards that transcend your other cards. But this is where you can get lucky spinners. Now, as far as I can tell throughout the entire update, this is the only place you can acquire these lucky spinners. And these lucky spinners actually are what we're going to be using now in this update and from now on to transcend battle cards. So if I click on here and I hit transcend, right, you can see, guys, that lucky spinner is down here in the bottom, right? And whenever you equip it, it's going to increase the chances of getting the transcendent stat that you want. But it's still RNG, guys. I believe it's a 6% chance, but it's still RNG. They want you to spend rubies on more RNG. Granted, better RNG than what it originally was, but I just think that's outrageous. Those things should be farmable. Now, if I'm wrong, let me know down in the comments if we can farm for these somewhere in this update, because I haven't seen it, guys. I've looked everywhere, and maybe I missed it, but I have not seen those things anywhere. I haven't seen it through the login. I haven't seen it through an event, nothing. So if this is the only place that we can get these things, that's a bunch of shite. And I would never tell you guys to spend your rubies on this. Now, I might spend a little rubies on this just for a video, guys, just for content purposes. But there's no way I would recommend anybody to do this. 5,500 rubies, guys. I mean, and here's the other thing, guys. So far in this game, there is no need to have transcendent stats unless you're, on the brink of finishing chapter a fight and you're trying to get that extra CP, right? If you're trying to get extra combat power out of your cards and you transcend them to get extra attack, crit rate, critical damage, whatever the case may be, then I can understand trying to transcend your cards. But this is a very expensive process, guys. You need 7 memories of a character to A5 them, to unlock their EX core. What are you going to spend your rubies on? Are you going to spend your rubies on this? Or are you going to spend your rubies on a fighter? You're going to go for that fighter, guys. There's no way I would do this. No way, guys. If I was not a content creator, there's no way. And then they have 8,000 rubies for this? No way, man. Now, I know some of you guys, maybe if you're a whale, maybe you'll look at this and be like, man, I'm going to transcend all my characters. But guys, on my free-to-play account, I have no cards transcended, right? I think I have 1 set, but I don't even use it. And I can finish everything in the game. There's no need to have it. They've never made having transcended cards a relevant thing. They've never made it relevant, right? It can come in useful in the early game, but if you play for a little while, 6 months, 9 months, I guarantee you won't ever need it. I've never needed it on my free-to-play account, guys. I've never needed it. The characters we get now are so freaking strong. They pretty much bypass everything, and they just destroy all content. I'm not going to say always, but for the most part. And I'm telling you, on my free-to-play account, I don't use transcendent cards. I just don't need to. Only if I'm trying to get a whole bunch of extra damage would I even really care about it. So I cannot, in good conscience, guys, recommend you to do any of these things. I can't see the relevance in having these cards here unless you just love the artwork and you want the cards, you want them as collector item. And I can't see the relevance in coming here and getting these lucky spins. Now, if you think it's worth it, by all means, spend your rubies. It's your rubies. You do whatever you want with it. But there's no way that I can recommend doing this. The next thing, guys, is in the summons. So this is something that they did was pretty damn awesome. So we can actually select our fighter and actually pick whichever one. So if one of these characters are your favorite, guys, especially if you're close to getting them to A5, you know, if they're your favorite, then I can always recommend you to go for it. If they're not your favorite, all these characters have been power crept, guys. Every one of them. Dual Long, insane support. Guess what? Lung is better. She's better, guys. She's a better support. Her leadership works on all fighters, but especially male fighters. Her support passive works on all fighters. She got critical rate. She has critical damage, increased damage, decreased defenses, all that crap in her kit. And she's a whole lot easier to use than Dual Long. And she interrupts the guild raid bosses, right? Lady Chin, insane support character. Very good, very strong. But she's been power crept, guys. There's other support characters that are better, right? But again, if you're at the brink of getting your A5, you want to get that extra increased damage received by 35%, I can understand it. Haramao, you know, he has Limitless, guys. I've talking about how broken that effect is. Like, you know, if you're on, again, if you're on the brink of getting these characters to A5, if you're within a memory or two memories of doing it, I could totally understand going in here and doing this because you already got the characters so close. And if they're your favorite, then I can definitely understand always, guys, even if you don't even have any copies of them and you just want to get them. Like if Rugal's your favorite, like me, and you don't have them at all, you weren't playing during the first session when you showed up, then I can totally understand you going for it. I get that, guys. Your favorite character, you should always go for. But whenever you put the character in here, guys, you're going to find that you're going to have a nice 1.8% chance up. This is the way it should always be for all the fighters. Even if this would have been 1%, I would have been really happy. But the fact that they made it 1.8 is awesome. This is something that they should continue to do, especially if they're not going to give us EX generic memories. You need 8 copies in total to A5 a character, guys. 8 in total, right? You have to get the character and then you need 7 more. That can get insane. I did 6 pities for my Leona. 6, count those fingers, guys. 6 pities. That's a lot of damn rubies, guys, at 18,000 rubies per pity. Think about that. That is insanely crap, okay? Insanely crap, insane crap, right? It's just terrible. So seeing this as a breath of fresh air, and it's pretty damn awesome. And you can do the same thing for the cards, guys. You can put certain cards in the pickup, right? And you can get a chance up, which is awesome, guys. This is nice. And I'm really, really happy to see it. Put your main card in here, guys. Put the cards that you're trying to get in here if you are actually pulling for it. But as I said earlier, guys, this update is really just kind of a bait banner, right? Really, they're all bait banners, but this is a specific bait banner because it's just trying to get you to pull for like favorite characters, right? And again, if you're on the brink of leveling up the character or maxing them out, I totally understand it. Or if they're your favorite, I totally understand that as well, right? You guys have seen me go crazy on my favorite characters, but all these characters, guys, have been power crept. Every single one of them have. And I really think that Netmarble kind of missed an opportunity to do something cool like what they used to do with BS and SS fighters, and that's give them buffs. If they would have given the characters buffs and then done all this other stuff on top of it, this would have been so good. This would have been so good. Not even buffs that would have made him stronger than the current meta, like stronger than Leona, but just much stronger. I mean, guys, Leona is 14 times or more stronger than Rugal. 14 times, guys. That's a lot of multiplying, right? That's a lot. I mean, if they would have just, buffed him up to where she was only 6 times more powerful, that would have been okay. And the same for all these other characters. I mean, Duo Lon, he always needed a damn buff. They screwed that character from day one, in my humble opinion. So, like, on one hand, I really like the chance up. I really like that they're bringing back fighters that players might have favorites in, and they can try to queue them up. I mean, on the last Rugal video I did, there was a player asking me, hey, when's this banner coming back? And then lo and behold, it comes right back. This is pretty awesome. I don't like what they did in the shop, and they did this crap with these spinner lucky spinners here. I don't like what they did here at all because it looks like it's the only place that you can acquire these, and I really don't see the relevance in having these cards unless they're going to be collector items for you. They have some other deals in the shop, guys, like some other little deals here, you know, like there's 10,000 rubies in here for, I think it's around $75, $80, somewhere around there, guys, for this, you know, which isn't really a bad deal considering how many rubies you're actually getting. And I might buy one of these things to have rubies for the next upcoming content, but this banner for me is a complete skip. I don't need any of these characters. I already have my favorite one, which is Rugal, completely maxed out, and Duolan. So there's no need for me to do any pulls, which is great. And so on one hand, for a lot of you guys out there, you look at this banner and you're going to be like, you know what? It's awesome. I can just save more rubies, kind of like in my situation, right? And then for some of you, you're going to be your favorite characters, and it's going to be awesome because you're going to have a 1.8% chance up for your favorite characters, right? But I was really hoping, you know, whenever I initially look at the patch notes, that those lucky spinners were actually going to be a blessing in disguise. But it turns out, guys, they're just locked behind using your rubies, which I think is a bunch of crap. But let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this update. And I do stream on Twitch at 9 p.m. DT+7 time. The link is in the description below. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Y'all take care and have a good one. See everybody. Take care.